So today's experiment is about Pelton wheel, which is a type of turbine. So it's very important to understand the basics of turbines as well, which we are going to cover in this lab lecture. So hydraulic turbines are the machines which use the energy of the water and convert it into mechanical energy. And this mechanical energy is utilized for running an electric generator, which is directly coupled to the shaft of the turbine. The electric power produced by the electric generator hence is known as hydroelectric power. A water turbine consists of wheel, which is also known as runner or rotor, which has a number of specifically designed vanes. So water which possesses a huge hydraulic energy that strikes the runner. The hydraulic energy does work on the runner and cause it to rotate. That we will see in the demonstration as well. The mechanical energy therefore developed is provided to the generator coupled to the runner. Utilizing this energy, the generator finally produces hydroelectricity. This is the whole process, how these turbines generate the electricity. What are the important elements of hydroelectric power plant? This is a very obvious question that comes to mind. So this is, you see, this is a layout or a drawing which is quite easy to understand looking at it. You see, since ours is a turbine like this, we are going to see this particular energy. You see, there is a dam here, and there is the component of dam. Sorry, the component of the turbine, which we are going to cover later. And there are some other, like the net head or the gross head energy line. This is the turbine itself. There's a nozzle, which we are going to see, in this lecture as well. Each of those components. So for your help, I have put this figure on the right side as well. So dam. So dam is constructed across a river to store water. So this is a dam. This is sort of a hydraulic structure. Okay. Penstocks. You see, this is the penstock. So penstocks are pipes of large diameter made of steel or reinforced concrete, which carry water under pressure from storage reservoir to the turbines. So penstock carry the water to the turbine. Water turbines, hydraulic turbines having different types of vanes fitted to the wheels. You see, this is the turbine. Tail race. Tail race, you see this nozzle tail race here. See, this is the nozzle tail race. A channel which carries water away from the turbines after the water has worked on the turbines. Head race, water surface in the storage reservoir. So this is head race. You see. So now heads and efficiencies of hydraulic turbines. Again, we have drawn this diagram here. This is what is gross head or static head or total head. That is H1. You see this H1. The difference between the head race level and the tail race level. See, this is the tail race level from the datum when no water is flowing. So this is the gross head H1. Net or effective head H. So this is the net head. The head available at the entrance to the turbine. So the one that is available at the entrance. It is given by this H1 minus HF, where HF is the total loss of head between the head race and the entrance of the turbine. This loss happens due to the friction. I mean, this is one of the reasons why there's a reduction in the gross, the reduction in head from the gross head. Now there are certain sort of efficiencies. The first one, which actually we will be calculating in our experiment, is as well is hydraulic efficiency, which is power developed by the runner divided by net power supplied at the turbine entrance. So net power supplied at the turbine entrance is given by rho Q plus delta Q into H, where Q is the quantity of water actually striking the runner. And this delta Q is quantity of water that is discharged directly to the tail race without striking the runner. So basically the entire the entire discharge. There's other called mechanical efficiency, and that is defined as power available at the turbine shaft P divided by power developed by the runner. We'll go into more detail about it in our theory course. There is another type of efficiency, that is volumetric efficiency, eta V, that is given by total Q. This the quantity of water actually striking the runner divided by the total discharge coming out from the outside the dam. Overall efficiency is defined as power available at the turbine shaft divided by net power supplied to the turbine entrance, P divided by rho Q plus delta Q into H. So this quantity. In this experiment, we are concerned with the hydraulic efficiency. Now we know the basics of turbine. Now, I mean, why the turbines are used and other things. It's important to know the classification of turbines. According to the action of the water flowing through the turbine runners, there is one something called impulse turbine. And the other is reaction turbine. So impulse turbine is in this type of turbine, all the available energy of the water is converted into kinetic energy by passing it through a contracting nozzle provided at the end of the penstock. The other is reaction turbine. So in the reaction turbine, at the entrance to the runner, only a part of the available water energy is converted into kinetic energy, and the substantial part remains in form of pressure energy. So impulse turbine converts all the available energy into kinetic energy, and the reaction turbines, they convert part of it into kinetic energy, and most of the part still remains in form of the pressure energy. According to the main direction of flow of water in the runner, there is a tangential flow turbine, there is a radial flow turbine, there is an axial flow turbine, and there is a mixed flow turbine. So tangential flow turbine, in that the water flows along the tangent to the path of the rotation of the runner. One of the example is the one that concerns us with an experiment, that is Pelton wheel turbine. The other type is radial flow turbine. Here the water flows along the radial direction and remains mainly in the plane normal to the axis of rotation as it passes through the runner. There's, the name itself gives you an indication of what type of turbine it is. Axial flow, the flow of water to the runner is mainly along the direction parallel to the axis of rotation of the runner. So the old type Francis turbine is one of the examples. Mixed flow turbine, here the water enters the runner at the outer periphery in the radial direction and leaves it at the center in the direction parallel to the axis of rotation of the runner. So one of the example of the mixed flow turbine is modern Francis turbine. So this also will cover in more detail all these classifications of the type of turbine in our theory class, hydraulics C21003. So on the basis of the head and the quantity of required, the turbines are classified in three ways. One is high head turbines, the other is medium head turbines, and the third is low head turbine. As it is already clear by the name, high head means which has a very high pressure head in the beginning, or the engineers have classified it that it's capable of working under very high head ranging from several hundred meters. So H1 ranges from several hundred meters to few thousand meters. Medium is the one that ranges from 60 meters to 250 meters, and the low head, the one where the available head is less than 60 meters. Now, the turbines are also classified based on the speed of the turbine. So the speed of a geometrically similar turbine that would develop 1 kilowatt power when working under the head of 1 meter, that is defined as the specific speed of the turbine. Okay, this is the definition of specific speed. What is that? This is that particular speed of a geometrically similar turbine that would develop 1 kilowatt power when working under the head of 1 meter. Now, low specific speed turbine, here the specific speed is less than 50 rotations per minute. Here the medium specific speed turbine and the high specific speed turbine. So among the low specific speed turbine is the Pelton wheel turbine. The medium specific speed turbine is that varies from 60 to 250 is Francis turbine, and there's high specific speed turbine, that is the specific speed is more than 250. Okay, so there is or anyway, yeah, there's a problem in the numbering. It should have been 3 here. So the specific speed. All right. So now we are coming to the topic of the today's experiment, that is Pelton wheel turbine. What is that? So Pelton wheel turbine looks something like this. You know, you'll see this is Pelton wheel. We are going to study what each of these components is. So first of all, the classification. The Pelton wheel turbine is a tangential flow impulse turbine, and it is named after Lester A. Pelton. So tangential and impulse turbine. So it consists of a rotor or a runner. This is the rotor or a runner, at the periphery of which are mounted equally spaced double hemispherical or double ellipsoidal buckets or curved vanes. So in this particular experiment, we are not too much concerned with the dynamics of these buckets, but when we are going to cover the theory, we will see how the momentum transfer takes place from a momentum transfer from this water coming here to this veins, and how it is converted into the energy. So here you see penstock, the one that carries in the water. Carries the water. Penstock is fitted with a nozzle through which the water flows out at a high speed jet. This we already have covered. So there is a needle sphere moving inside the nozzle which controls the water flow through the nozzle and provides a smooth flow with negligible energy loss. So this is the sphere. So this structure is there to reduce the energy loss. Hence, all the potential energy of the water is converted into kinetic energy before the jet strikes the blade of the runner. And the casing, you see the casing here, this casing, what it does is it prevents the splashing of water to the tail race. Okay. And the last component is the brake nozzle. This directs the jet of water onto the back of the bucket and brings the runner to rest in a short time. You see, this is the brake nozzle. In the experiment, we are going to, use this component for recording the torque that is developed, but that we will come to it later. Not now. Now, experimental procedure. You see, this is the hydraulic bench in which we will be working. This is HM150, and there are several components with some tank, sliding valve, remote side gauge. This hydraulic bench, this has more or less, the same setup as you have been seeing in the experiment till now. Mr. Devashish Ghosh has explained it in a much better way in previous experiment, while doing the demonstration, and also in this experiment as well. So, as I said, the water supply to the turbine is provided by HM150. This is hydraulic bench, and the discharge from the turbine is also, so the water that leaves the turbine also goes to this hydraulic bench in the experiment. No, so this is the layout of the Pelton wheel turbine apparatus. You see, there are several components. So some of the most important, you see, the water comes in from here, it rotates the turbine, and this is the braking system. This braking system is used, is used to measure the tension developed in these two strings, and based on these differential forces and the torque hence developed, we are able to calculate the torque. We are going to see that also the numerical. You see the water supplies from here, okay, and the water discharge is from here. See, water discharge here and water supply from here. Okay. Now, determination of the volume flow or discharge. The time T required to fill up the volumetric tank of HM150 from 20 liters to 30 liters, for example, or you can also measure from 0 to 10 or 0 to 5. So the volume you record, and you also using the stopwatch, you measure the time. So volume divided by time will give you the discharge through this hydraulic bench. Q will be recorded. See, this is the volumetric tank. Volumetric flow is then calculated, as I told you, V2 minus V1 by T. That will give us volume in liters per minute. During the experiment, it's clearly explained, and this is what you are going to record as well during the experiment. The readings have been provided to you, but in principle, this is the way we do it. Now, how to determine the rotational speed N? So it is the rotational speed determined by the non-contact handheld tachometer. So tachometer is a device used for measuring the rotational speed. You point the tachometer towards the turbine when it is rotating and just measure the rotations per minute. So tachometer displays the speed by means of a reflection marker fixed to the belt pulley. You see this here. This is a reflection marker. So using this, it displays the speed. Now the rotation speed is measured in rotation per minute, which I have already told you. Determination of the effective head H. So effective head H is the pump pressure applied upstream of the turbine, and it is directly measured from the pressure bar. This instrument here, and that is the manometer, and it gives the head reading in bar. So head is given by pressure divided by rho into G, where rho is 1000 kilogram per meter cube for water and G is 9.81 meter per second squared. So we also obtained head H in the experiment. Now important is the determination of torque. So as I told you, the load is produced by the braking device. So braking device is a mechanical device which prevents motion by means of friction. You see, this is the belt pulley. This is the whole braking device. So with the hand wheel, you see the traverse is moved in the upward direction until both spring balances display a force. So basically it tightens it, and after it tightens, it will actually display some F1 here and F2 here, which will, you see, F1 and F2. So this will give you the torque developed, because torque will be developed when there is a differential force on the two sides, F1 and F2, F1 minus F2 into D by 2. So the torque M is calculated as F into D by 2, where F is the difference between F1 and F2. And D is the diameter of the belt pulley. So this is the belt pulley. And this in the experiment, I think, is fixed. Here the diameter is 0.05 millimeter here in this particular case. Now the calculations, that is very important. So hydraulic efficiency will come to it, that is the P out. So power out. That means the output power is torque into angular velocity, that is m into omega, or m into 2 pi. Omega is nothing but the 2 pi into rotation speed by 60. Whereas the hydraulic power, or the input power that we are feeding, can be given by V into H into rho into G. This is the standard formula that we have also seen in the chapter of momentum. The power, the power. This is the volume into head into rho into G. Okay, so P hydraulic power is, so because this H is measured in bar, right? So what we do is multiply by, so since P is the bar pressure, so for converting into Pascal, we multiply it to 10 to the power 5. And since V is in liters per second, V we can write into 10 into the power minus 3 meter cube per second. All right. Whatever there is. That is why we have divided by 1000 because of this volume. So both P out and P HYD, that is the hydraulic power, comes in watts. Hydraulic efficiency is calculated as P output divided by pressure hydraulic power. So this is what we need to calculate in the experiment. The dynamics of the motion is not covered in this particular experiment. How the velocity changes and the angle of attack, and there's a very famous velocity triangle, but that we will cover in our theory class. I think that is enough for today, and we are also going to see the video demonstration that we already recorded and do the experiments. Thank you so much.